Hey you guys, it's Doodly Squatch coming at you with another robot, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. So today's doodle is another Draw Me a Robot challenge, this time issued by Nate Russell. That's at NRDoggy on Instagram. And the prompt was a Transformer-esque thing involving like a hatchet, or like it was like a tomahawk on his drawing. So most folks took it as a bladed robot something or other. So that was really fun. It's always a challenge when a new month comes along and Draw Me a Robot has a prompt for me. It's funny because I kind of struggle drawing robots, or at least I think they get into my I get too into my head, I would say. There we go. Where I'll worry about, well, does this look like it would actually move or work in a way? Does it have the right structure to be a robot? Is it symmetrical enough to present as a robot? That sort of thing. And usually the best way to get me out of that, I'll either turn on like Fooly Cooly and or Evangelion, because I love their sort of organic-ish looking robots, I love that Kanti is a robot, but he moves very fluid-like, and there's some give there. Also, all the things that come out of Nauta's head, they're technically robots, but they have more of a, I don't know, squishy, gushy vibe. It's a memey kind of thing, a dreamy. I freaking love that show. My children probably watched the original run of Fooly Cooly a number of times in their childhood, just through me rewatching it and just enjoying the heck out of it. And the other ones were okay, not as memorable. I don't know, like it's. I need to give them another chance. I think when I watched them last, I was not in a headspace to accept new things, But yeah, keeping those kind of things in mind, or even like, this guy reminds me more of like the Super Sentai kind of robots, where it's basically dudes with cardboard boxes, on them, and just the big, as they're running, it's just wobbly and all that. Pardon me, sorry. But yeah, I really do enjoy a good prompt from these guys. This month's prompt I just saw is Draw Me a Droid, so like a Star Wars-esque kind of droid thing. That's his name. Okay, so I have a print in my basement by a fellow named The Gray Ninja, otherwise known as Kevin Merriman. Really nice guy. Met him at a con and purchased a number of prints from him. One of them, he did a series of prints of all the like Smash Brothers characters, and he has this really cool, I think he called it like the Pink series, because they're all pink. But I got his Luigi one, and I love that one. It looks fantastic. Just love it. But he also had a large bin of kind of like older prints that he had marked down. And there's this one of this giant robot with these big blades, kind of like what I'm doodling here. And it's this, and there's this tiny kid next to him. It's like, I love you, Axbot, and he's like, chop chop, kid, and it's so that was definitely part of my inspiration for this piece. But yeah, it like, just speaking of like conventions and meeting artists there and everything, I think that's my favorite part of going to any convention is Artist Alley. Whenever I sort of venture beyond that, then it just becomes really sort of like it cheapens the excursion, I would say, when you see kind of the same 100 vendors of the same stuff every year. Oh yeah, soda papa. There we go. I got a Dr. Pepper with salted caramel syrup in it, and it's quite good. Anywho, but yeah, when it's like I can almost picture the vendor hall, if you will, and it's always the same. There's the big thing of leather stuff where you can get leather everything, and then there's the replica swords, and then there's the big ridiculous lightsaber area, and then capes and overpriced jackets. Good grief. my son and I were looking at these they had these jackets, and they had like the coat from like Cyberpunk, and then there was the coat from Death Stranding 2, and they're very cool looking, very realistic, I would say. And yeah, you're doomed when there's no price tags on anything. And the gal just showed me like a QR code to their website, and went on there, and they were like $500. I'm like, they better have like slain the golden fleece to make this if it's going to be that expensive. Good gosh. It was insane. But yeah, so that part of going to conventions is always just kind of I don't know. I don't really care for that, because it's like mass produced kind of stuff where it's there was a creative mind behind it, but it's you're several steps away from it. And when you go to Artist Alley, it's the person who made the stuff is right there usually. Obviously there's some shysters out there, where they it's like, oh yeah, I got all these prints that I'm selling, and it's almost like resellers, or it's like a collective or something like that. But for me, I like to seek out where it's like, there's the artist, here's their stuff, I can talk to them, and get to know them, and support them, buy stuff from them. It's great. And me being in the art sphere, oftentimes there's a lot of people I know at these conventions, so it's really quite fun just to visit with them. Was able to see my buddy Sean Koss recently, a couple of years ago at Salt Lake City Con, and there's always Tyler Lamp's always there. I get to see Mel and Miles Milton, and Isaac Hastings, IH Squared, one of my favorite artists, and he's such a delight to visit with. I'm blown away that he remembers my goofy mug every time I see him. And usually the next question is, where's your booth? And one of these days, when I'm not financially destroyed, I'll get around to it, but not this year. Laughter hiding real sadness. No, I'm kidding. I'm all right. Coloring this guy was interesting. Still fighting with the idea of doing either working with gradients or just manually doing them. And in this case, it felt better just to sit down and block in all the colors. And I don't know. I always like that. It feels sharper. I'm just not confident enough in doing kind of like the painterly stuff. And I work on it, obviously, and every artist is on a journey and trying to find their way and get better at this stuff. And I'm thankful to Facebook for posting memories and reminding me that I have grown and gotten better at this. And I'm not really stagnating. I'm moving onwards and upwards, and every year's a new year, and I love it. And that's what I love to see in my art friends, and in my children, seeing what they do. Seeing my youngest has been he's been branching out from drawing. He usually draws like exclusively pumpkins, so he's been branching out and trying to draw more things, different things. And he'll ask me, what should I draw, and I'll suggest something, and he goes, that's too hard. And I'll go, it's not hard, try. And just do it, it'll be fun. And oftentimes he'll take a swing at it, and he goes, wow, that wasn't that hard. And so I'm happy for that. I enjoy doing the graffiti on this guy too, because if there was a giant robot parked somewhere, someone would want to tag that thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed how this one turned out, and working on it, and sort of stretching my limits, even going for a bigger canvas. Usually I'm doing like a 12 by 12 square, mostly just because it suits itself to like Instagram posting, because theirs is usually squarish, but lately it's been more rectangular, so who knows. Anywho, this has been fun. I still enjoy making art and just being silly and putting it on the socials, and I'm thankful for those of you that come and check it out, and appreciate you. Hope you guys are having a good week, and that May treats you right. But anyways, that's the video, that's the drawing. Like, comment, subscribe as you will, and we'll see you next time.